Where are the enemy tanks? Oh, there we go. Hello, sucker! Hello, YouTube! Welcome back to War Thunder. Today we are going to do a little review on this beauty, the KV-2. This is a Russian tier 3 tank. It sits at a battle rating of 4.7. Now, what is so special about this tank? Well, obviously the main thing is, it's a giant beast. This thing is probably one of the tallest tanks in the game, if not the tallest. It also has one of the biggest guns. You might wonder, how big is that black hole? Oh my god, it's darker than my ex-girlfriend's soul. Yeah, the thing is 152mm. 152mm of pure win. Let's just say, things you shoot at are not going to have a great day. You have a choice of two ammo loads. The G530 is the armor-piercing variant, we'll say. It doesn't do as much damage, but has a monster penetration for its battle rating. 150mm at close range. Which is nice. It's quite nice. Now, the main star of this gun is the high explosive shell. Look at that. 40 kilograms of high explosive. And 75mm of penetration at all ranges. That's not the shell penetrating, that's the explosion penetrating. If you hit any armor that's not at least 75mm thick, you stand a pretty good chance of instantly killing that tank. So anything that is light tanks or medium tanks, they don't stand a chance against this gun. As for upgrades, you definitely want to go for parts. The KV-2 gets disabled pretty easily, since it is just a big target. Pretty much any damage will render your gun useless. If they hurt your loader, you're pretty much going to have double the loading time. If they hurt your aiming drive, your horizontal aiming drive, your turret is going to turn even slower than it already is. As for secondary upgrades, adjustment of fire probably isn't such a bad idea. That gun is not the most accurate thing in the world. It does have quite a short barrel. It is a derp gun. It is meant for close range shotgunning. Turret drive is definitely a buy as well. The turret turns so slowly, any help really is useful. Fire prevention equipment, of course, is always a useful thing to have on the tank. And this is secondary. You just have to embrace that this tank is slow. You're not going to get anywhere fast with this thing. This is not a tank to cap objectives. This is a tank to ambush people. This is a tank to one-shot kill medium tanks that are trying to get past you. Now, what are the benefits and the drawbacks of this tank? To be honest, you could argue that the armor is quite good. It gets the same armor as the KV-1. That sits a whole tier, a whole rank lower. Which means that this thing will actually go against tanks that have the penetration to defeat this armor from the front. However, with smart angling, you can definitely help this out. Since it has both 75mm on the front and on the sides, you can literally just park this tank at a 45-degree angle. Not quite. Like this. How about this angling for the hull? As you can see, it's over 110mm I have to defeat. The turret is a slightly trickier question. You can just leave the turret like that because of this massive panel over here. As you can see, only 84mm, 85 at the max. It's quite easy to penetrate from this angle. You have to try and put it at about this angle, no? About this seems right. To get about 90. Now, of course, in battle you are very rarely going to get the opportunity to angle this tank perfectly. But as long as you keep the hull angled at about 45 degrees and the turret pretty much just pointing straight forward, you're not going to have much trouble. Now, what is the easiest way to defeat a KV-2, should you happen to come across one? From the front, it's not impossible to penetrate, but it's not a good idea to try to penetrate it here. Front of the turret is a tricky question as well. It only has 75mm over here, but it's a bit tricky. Now, two spots I would consider weak spots for the KV-2 from the front are here, because the armor here is pretty much flat, which means you'll have to least armor to penetrate on this side. And as you can see, the horizontal aiming driver is right behind that. You hit that, you penetrate that, you're going to disable the turret of this tank. Of course, probably the biggest weak point of this tank from the front is the gun. If you hit that thing, you're going to pretty much guaranteedly going to disable the gun, which is the main feature of this tank. This gun is a shotgun with a very slow reload. With a stock crew, you'll need at least 36 seconds, which means you can fire less than 2 shots per minute. If they manage to hurt one of your loaders, that loading time is going to be even further increased. And of course, penetrating to the whole turret is just death. If you ever catch a KV-2 from the side, I'm here. Lower back side of the turret. This is where the ammo and the loaders are. Even if you don't set off the ammo, you're going to kill the loaders. And without the loaders, this tank is pretty much useless. Of course, if you have trouble penetrating the turret, and I wouldn't know why, because this is just a flat surface. You can of course aim for the side of the hull. Between the first and the third wheel here on the bottom sits a massive fuel tank, and just behind the fuel tank is ammo. So if you penetrate this, you're pretty much guaranteed to set off either the fuel tank or the ammo, which is always a nice thing. From the other side, yeah, here's a minor fuel tank above the third wheel, but it's not such a big target. If you can, either aim for the ammo or for the gun. Keeping that in mind, how do you want to drive the KV-2? Well, you're not going to get anywhere fast, so you have to plan your actions. You have to plan your way. Things you want to avoid is wide open stretches where you can get shot at from multiple angles. If you can, try and concentrate the fire of your enemy from one angle only, so you can angle your armor to the best extent and bounce as much shots as possible. Getting caught out in the open with your sight pointed towards an enemy gun, it's just a death sentence. You're not even going to get enough time to turn the turret around to hit them. The turret is very slow to turn, as is the whole tank. This thing is just a massive behemoth. It's a heavy tank that doesn't drive fast, it doesn't turn fast. It says on the stat card that it can reach up to 37 km per hour, but trust me, it's not going to happen. If you drive in a straight line downhill, maybe, but definitely not turning. Another thing you have to keep in mind is the horrible gun depression, which plagues most of the Russians. You do not want to get over hills, you do not want to crest hills with this tank. You just take too much time to bring the gun down to your enemies, and you'll pretty much get taken out instantly. So the ideal terrain for this is valleys and stuff like that, where you can put your armor against the mountain or against the hillside and get the gun down. Now hopefully I'll be able to demonstrate this in the following gameplay, and let's hope we don't get a too open map. Oh yes, Karelia. This tank loves Karelia. This is probably the best map to play this tank on. You get loads of cover and loads of opportunity to hide your tank. Now sadly the enemy doesn't spawn on the other side of that valley, and this mode, so we can't just camp them. But, no harm done, we can still use this tank. Since we get a downhill start here, we're going to try and pick up some speed and try to carry it all the way. This is sort of like an energy fighter. It's almost like an American airplane. You don't want to turn much, you want to drive in as much straight lines as possible. And trying to get an Su-85 on your way. Well, thank you very much, mate, I just lost all my speed. As you can see, this tank is rather sluggish. The turret turns very, very, very slowly. And this is why it's important to always keep your enemies to your front. Definitely the biggest threat of this tank is medium tanks that get around its flank. You just don't have time to turn your tank around and turn your turret around. They can just dance around you. Also, don't expect to be the first one to hit anything. As you can see, half our team is up the capture point already. And we already have a dead tiger, which is not good. Okay, semi stuck free. Let's see if we can hit him. And pretty good hit, but it did not kill him, sadly. That's the thing with the high explosive shells. If you hit any part that has less than 75mm of armor, you are going to do a lot of damage. If the thing has sloped armor or more than 75mm of armor, you're going to have some problem. You're not going to kill the tank in one shot. And since the loading time is so slow, you don't get much chances to shoot again. Which is why this is actually a perfect position right here. You can always retreat. Definitely have to plan your shots, you don't just want to waste a shot. Now there's an IS-1 who missed. And they killed my drive and my loader. Not good. Now thankfully you have another loader, so it shouldn't be that much of a problem, but if they get to kill that one too, we're going to have a big problem with reloading this gun. And the tanks on the cap circle are more than capable of killing me. My armor isn't the best thing in the world. At least not at this tier. So we have to be careful. And I'm going to try to go for that stug. I'm a bit afraid he will kill me though. Where is he? Oh, there was someone there. Well, that IS-1 is down. I'm not going to move up just yet, because I know there are still some tanks over there. And we don't have much backup either. Side of a medium tank, he's down. Panzer 4H. That guy could prove some trouble, but he doesn't seem to notice us. Now sadly, our team is on the back. They're not trying to get up either. This seems like a lost match. We have 3 heavy tanks on this side, but we can't really do much with the enemy all over there. Now let me see, can I actually hit that guy? I could technically shoot over that ridge, but I'm not sure if I can hit him. But I can just go for that stuck. If I can find him. That's a risky shot. Then again, this is a derp gun. Why not take it? And we shouldn't have taken it. Yeah, you don't want to waste shot like that. It's really not a good idea. Now I'm going to try to push forward a bit. We have a SU-152 who sadly just shot. There's another stock 3 over there. But I think we can angle pretty well against him. He isn't concentrating on us either. Now we don't have much time. There's a tiger. Oh. Why, hello there. KV-2 is strong tank. Filthy German has no chance against the mighty Russian steel. Oh, I don't like this. Those tigers can definitely kill us. I'm a bit more worried about those tigers than about that T-34, so I'm going to point my turrets toward there. Ah. Speaking about the devil, T-35-57 takes me out. Yeah, that was a pretty good shot. He just took out most of my gun. Most of my crew. Sadly we lost, but I'm going to stop here. I'm going to try another match. Alright guys, we are on Poland. This is one of the better maps to play the KV-2 on as well. You have to pay attention though. Medium tanks can get on your flanks pretty easily. I'm going to stay behind this tiger for now. Since my tank is so tall, you can actually pretty effectively use your friendly tanks as cover. The tiger, maybe not. He's a bit tall as well. But I can stay behind other tanks and shoot over them, protecting my hull. Now since we already kept A, I'm going to try and advance over to C. The KV-85 is taking some fire, so I'll have to pay some attention over at this corner. Anyone there? Nope. Alright, I'm going to try to flank in a KV-2. Let's see if we can clear up some enemies over there. I'm a bit scared. The last match I played on this map, I got pretty much wrecked by a T-34-57, who just flanked me and catch me straight from the side. Alright, I think that's a Flak Panzer, something similar. Is it? Oh. Panzer 4G. KV-1. Ah! We only blew off his tracks. Yeah, the KV-1 is pretty heavily armored. I think I'm going to load actually the armor-piercing shell. It's going to take a while, but at least we can penetrate those tanks over there. I think that's one of the main problems with the KV-2. You get over-tiered a bit. Well, not over-tiered really, this thing has a battle rating of 4.7. But as you can see, there are Tigers, Su-152s, all sorts of stuff on the enemy team. Which is never a good sign. I might try to angle this tank a little bit more. And come over this corner at a perfect angle. I see a no, that's not a Tiger, this is a Panzer 4. You are dead! So yeah, as you can see, even the armor-piercing shell is pretty effective in this scenario. Now, I can't really watch my flank. Is there anyone there? Oh, there's a Su-152. Not good. Back up into the corner. I really don't want that guy to shoot at me. And we just made it. Awesome. Now the KV-1, I don't know if he's pointing at us. Oh, yes, a 152 just shot. So I'm going to take him out. If I can see him. Come on. There he is. There we go. Man, I'm actually liking these armor-piercing shells for once. They're doing work. Now our next target will be that KV-1, if he's still alive. I can't currently see him. He might have backed off. Let's see. Yeah, I think I'm alone in this corner now. And let's angle this thing a bit more. I'm going to try to decap C. There's definitely still a tank on that corner over there. It might be that KV-1 from earlier. Alright, Hetzer's helping out. I'm going for C. Let's hope that Hetzer can hold up that corner. Okay, the KV-1 is down, which is awesome. I can't see any more enemy tanks on this corner. So I can pretty much capture C uncontested. Let's angle this thing a bit more. Now there's enemies over by B. And the enemy is spawning in an assault bomber. I have a feeling he's going to go for me, so I'm going to back off this cap circle actually. Corner is still good. KV-85 is alive. Oh! Oh, no you don't. What?! Oh, there was a T-34 in front of him. Alright. Nah, he killed my driver. Not good. Actually not in a good position. We have to angle this thing a bit more. Come on. Ah, thank you, mate. Guess you got saved there. Now I'm getting a repair message, but I have no idea what's wrong with this tank. I can't see any damage. Oh, it's because we kept the circle, alright. For those of you who don't know, you can actually reload your tank if you are in a cap circle that's yours. Panzer IV just might have died. We just got our tracks blown off. Let's angle this thing before we reload. Repair actually. Alright, let's see. I'm a bit afraid that they might come from over there. So I'm going to angle a bit. What? 26 seconds? Just for some tracks? Well, I understand that these tracks are massive, but that just seems a bit over-exaggerated. Well. Let's just hope the bombers don't go for us. Since this tank is so slow, you definitely are a prime target for enemy bombers. They just look. Ah! Speaking about the devil, I really should stop talking about things that kill me. Yeah, we were just immobilized, had no chance. And this was the KV-2. Definitely a fun tank to drive. It's very slow. And not easy, so to speak. Just because the gun is big, you don't automatically get kills. But as you can see, the high explosive shell and the armor-piercing shell can be pretty effective. My suggestions are to use the armor-piercing shell against heavy tanks like the Tiger and some Panzer IVs from the front. Against medium tanks and anything below that, definitely use the high explosive shell. Learn to angle your tank, cover your weak spots, and just pick off people like there's no tomorrow. This thing is really fun to drive. Now, don't expect to make much profit of this tank. I think I've said this before, but you're not going to get many kills whilst driving this thing. The reload is so long that you are just not really effective as a tank killer per se. But who cares about profits if you have this much fun? Alright guys, this has been the KV-2 review. I hope you guys have enjoyed it, and if you did like it, consider to like this video, and if you aren't yet, subscribe to this channel. There are more videos coming, and I'm probably going to do a blueprints episode on this pretty soon. Wink wink. My name has been MikeGoesBoom. Thank you for watching.